Yo, what is up everybody? It is Bumfries, back with episode 18 of our Reddit series. Today this is a viewer request. We are doing some entitled parents. A bunch of you requested this, so it should be a really good video. We're super close to 7,000 subscribers, so smash that subscribe button. Now all you need to do is sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. Free event, solar eclipse party. Most kids go back to school that day. Can it be done on the weekend? Did this lady just ask to reschedule the sun? A subreddit that I've never seen before, and this is the first thing that I come across. I already have a feeling this is going to be a very good episode. I was in the mall after school and I had a music exam that day, so I'd brought my ukulele. I was sitting at a bench waiting for my friends to finish up when this parent comes to me with her maybe 10-year-old daughter, and I thought she was a nice woman at first. What kind of instrument is that? It's a ukulele. Why are you making up names for it? It's clearly a guitar for children. Can I try it? Of course you can, sweetie. And this woman straight up grabs the bag and starts unzipping it. Ma'am, I paid 79 euros for that. Just let her have it. You're just a selfish teen. So I got up when she handed her kid my ukulele and she just starts pulling the strings. And I tell her, that is not how you use it, and that is mine. So I take the instrument out of her hands and she just straight up starts screaming and crying. You don't deserve it. It's too small for you anyway. So I walked off with my book bag and ukulele as fast as I could. I wonder what makes this lady think that her daughter is entitled to this instrument. I wonder how she would feel if somebody walked into her house, started taking her things and said, "Oh, my kid deserves it, so it's okay." Unfortunately, the only way for an entitled person like this to change is to be knocked back to reality. There's a couple of things that OP wants to mention before we get into this one. He's 24, 6'6", bearded and a chubby man. He's a paranoid schizophrenic with some kind of major anxiety issues. He has a fear of being in public and not at home for a few reasons. Sometimes he offers to do basic grocery shopping for his parents just to force himself out of the house, but it's hard. Made this whole situation terrifying for him. So now they're out of the way, let's get into this one. Okay, so I go to pick up some smoked sausages and Zatarans. Yes, I know I probably pronounced that wrong, but that stuff is the bomb, by the way. Cheap, delicious, quick meal. I get to the self-checkout and see that they have one single bar of Hershey's cookies and cream left. It's my favorite candy bar. I know, I'm weird. Honestly, it's my favorite too, but let's move on. I decided to grab it because it felt like a sign, being the last one. I grab it as I walk to the self-checkout, which is right next to it. A kid behind me starts crying, which kind of freaked me out a little bit. I try to ignore it. Then I feel a bony finger aggressively tapping my shoulder. Significantly more freaked out now. I turn around and this youngish mother said, "I was going to buy that candy bar for my son," very loudly. I begin to apologize because I try to be very non-confrontational because of the anxiety, but my anxiety got the better of me and I just kind of blurt out a bunch of nonsense. She then goes on a rant about how I'm a fat adult who doesn't need the candy and how I'm abusing her son. I definitely heard her say child abuse at one point. She then ends up getting frustrated with me and says, "Whatever, just buy it." Great. Now I can ignore her and pretend like this never happened. I quickly pay for my things and I go to leave. Then I hear, "Aren't you forgetting something?" from the same mum. I figured I left my change or my wallet or something in my rush to not be there anymore, but I see I have everything. Then she says, "You owe my kid the candy bar." I almost gave it to her, but I kind of found some courage to stand up to her. And by stand up to her, I mean walk away and give her the old backflip. I hear her complain extremely loudly to the poor defenseless workers, but I just rush out of the store. I feel proud for actually not giving in, as dumb as that seems. It's the little victories I strive for, one day at a time. It still kind of wrecked my mood, and I really should have explained to her that I don't know her or her kid anything. The candy bar tasted even better, by the way. I don't say this much about people in the Reddit posts, but good on this dude. Good on him for not giving up, and good on him for standing his ground. If that lady cared that much about getting her kid that candy bar, she can just go down to another supermarket and get it. It's really not that big of a deal. So I was on the airplane and I was playing some offline games that I downloaded before the flight when a lady comes up behind me and the conversation went like this. "Hi, I saw you playing on your phone and I think my son deserves to play it more than you." I laughed since I thought it was a joke and just kept playing. The lady kept standing there and said, "Did you hear me?" And at this point, I was kind of shocked. So I responded, "Are you joking?" "No. My son has done very good in school and he wants to play it. Aren't you a bit old for games?" And I told her that I didn't care about her son, and one of the flight attendants came over and I explained the conversation. She told the lady to go to a seat. and she death stared me for the whole flight. Sometimes I think these sorts of things are okay, and then I remember that kids are the future. At some point in time, when we're older, maybe wanting to do a little bit of work in retirement, these kids are going to be managing us, and at that point, we're screwed. This happened a couple years ago at the tail end of 8th grade. My friend tells me that her mum and this other mum were volunteering together at my school's bookstore. This was the conversation that followed. Just keep in mind, some of these details may be incorrect because I did not witness the event and I'm going off what my friend told me. For the sake of this, we're going to call EP Karen and FM Belinda. Hello Belinda. Oh hi Karen, how's your son doing? Finishing up school for the year and all? Is he ready for next year? Actually, I pulled him out of this school to go to a new school in Denver. OP lives in Missouri, so this all took place in Missouri, just FYI. Oh, I hope your son has a great time there. Actually, I've been meaning to ask you about that. My son and I have discussed, and we've decided that your daughter should come to the new school just to be my son's girlfriend. Excuse me? We were thinking if your family could move to Denver over the summer, your daughter could be my son's girlfriend at his new school. You want me to move my entire family to a new state, transition my daughter to a whole new school, all in 3 months? Yes, my son wanted to have a girlfriend at his new school and expressed interest in your daughter. That's all of the story that my friend told me. Luckily, Karen moved off to Colorado and my friend stayed here. We're still hanging out. Good riddance, crazy mum. Sorry, I forget. Are we doing an episode of Choosing Beggars or Entitled Parents? What kind of person, regardless of the situation, would ever think that somebody would move interstate for a person that they may not even be interested in? For me, this one just seems way too far. This has to be the definition of an entitled parent. When my youngest son was little, he spent a lot of time in the hospital. Too much. When he was going through any type of painful procedure, he had a dancing clown that played soft music that he'd concentrate on to help stop the panic and help with the pain. It was a very adorable clown. When he, at 6 years old, had to have a major surgery, life or death type surgery, he was so sick. Of course, the clown was with us. With my son being in pain, I had that clown going 24/7. The child in the room next to us was, as I found out later, going through chemo. Unfortunately, she wasn't handling it very well physically. She would cry all night long. Poor baby. Around 11 PM on our third night, my son woke up to the little girl's cries. I go to start the clown and he stops me. He asked me to give his clown to the baby crying. Since my son was drugged up, I asked him if he was sure as he was going to need it. He told me that she needed it more than him because she can't stop crying. And yeah, that was a proud mama moment. So I go to the next room with the clown and peek in to see if anyone's awake. Both the mother and the child are. I knocked, explained why I was intruding, started up the clown and handed him over. Like me, that mother kept the clown going almost continuously. 2 days later, the mother stopped by our room and asked if she could use the clown again. We didn't have it. I went up to the nurse's station, explained that the clown was given to help the little girl and was now gone. I wanted it found now. As you can imagine, 5 days without much sleep made me a bit cranky. It was fortunately found and given back to the little girl. One of the nurse's aides had taken it for a child because, well, that girl wasn't going to need it much longer, and my daughter likes clowns. I don't know if she got fired, but I didn't see her again. I sure as hell hope this lady got fired. Number one, to be stealing things from your patients, but number two, to be speaking about your patients like that. That's just disgusting. Here's hoping that both of those children got better, and especially that chemo girl made it. Alright everyone, that is that for today's video. I really do hope you guys enjoyed, and I want to say thank you so much for watching. This was a little bit different than usual, so I am experimenting with this a little bit. I know it's not just as simple as reading out Facebook and text message posts, so bear with me while I try and get the rhythm on these type of videos right.